are living amidst what is potentially one of the greatest threats in our lifetime to global education, a gigantic educational crisis. We were already experiencing a global learning crisis, as many students were in school but were not learning the fundamental skills needed for life. This pandemic has the potential to worsen these outcomes even more if we do not act fast. Our students, their parents, and educators around the world are feeling the extraordinary ripple effect of the novel coronavirus as schools are shutting down and quarantine methods are being ordered to cope with the global pandemic. While governments and health officials are doing their best slowing down the outbreak, the Department of Education are collaborating to collectively respond and provide quality education for all during these difficult times. Our job as educators is to help everyone in providing quality education for all, even in these exceptional times. Good morning, colleagues in the academy. Welcome to the Kalinog National Comprehensive High School Virtual Inset this December 14 to 19, 2020. To formally start, I would like to request everyone to stand to pay homage to our Philippine flag by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. This will be followed by a prayer by Mr. Jaymar Vicente, Teacher 1 of the Kalinog National Comprehensive High School. Please remain standing for the singing of the Kalinog Hymn, the Civil Service Hymn, and the Division Hymn. I would like to request everyone to remove their caps and covers for these following numbers.
Let us pray and let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The Father of all goodness and wisdom, we thank you for the gift of life we had at this present moment of our lives. Thank you for keeping us safe amidst the threat of this pandemic. In our constant search for knowledge, we humble ourselves before you, O Lord, like an empty cup, willing to be filled by your Spirit, for us to be motivated to serve your people with undivided hearts. We therefore entrust to you, O Lord, our burden, and ask you to fill us with grateful hearts for us to submit our will in your ways, to be of your best version of apostles. For your ways above our ways, and your thoughts above our thoughts. Bless us, your teachers, and all the teachers throughout the world, of whom you called to teach the beginning of wisdom, that this entire activity will not only suffice our thirst for knowledge, but also teach us to be humble and always in need of your guidance. May we be living witnesses of whatever we acquired in this our virtual and service training for your glory. For you who lives forever and ever. Amen.
Sa pagpanglakaton sa tanan nga banwa, nasaktan kong patindugon, panahon ang pagkakalan, kalinog hindi matupungan, ng bisan sino nga tumulong, kalinog ang malungkuman, kalinog, kalinog, kanwang malipayon, malinong kamay, swabon at tinahon, pakisan kang mabinuligon, may kalintutan na mga katawan, kalinog, 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 banwa kong pinalanggan, kalinog, 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 banwa kong pinalanggan. Hindi pinaparugal, bisan sa bilog na kalibutan, hindi banwang natawan, ipanublikod sa akong ginikanan, katahungang pagkakalan, kalinog hindi matupungan, ng bisan sino nga tumulong, kalinog ang malungkuman, kalinog, kalinog, banwang malipayon, malinong kamay, swabon at tinahon, pakisan kang mabinuligon, may kalintutan na mga katawan, kalinog, 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 banwa kong pinalanggan, 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 kalinog, 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 banwang dunggan mo. Ang serbisyo sibil ng bayan ko, lingkod na tunay ngayon kailanman. Laging tumutulong, laging nagpapayo, at sa kawali ay siyang patnubay. Ang serbisyo sibil ay tanghalin, ito ay ating dakilain. Maging tapat wina sa ating tungkulin, paglingkurang lagi bayang giliw. Ang serbisyo sibil ay lingkod na tangi, tayo natin ay ating ipagpunyi. Mabuhay ang serbisyo sibil ng bayan ko, lingkod na tunay ngayon kailanman. Laging tumutulong, laging nagpapayo, at sa kawali ay siyang patnubay. Ang serbisyo sibil ay tanghalin, ito ay ating dakilain. Maging tapat wina sa ating tungkulin, maglingkurang lagi The Philippine archipelago stands the torch of light, the head of Iloilo. Teaches children to love God and country, provides education to every Ilonggo. Come, fellow educators, come, let us answer the noble call. A call to public service, come, the divisions, vision, mission, and goal. Iloilo Division, molder of the youth, works for knowledge, culture, arts, and sports, makes youth competent members of society, proud as Ilonggos can face life with certainty. Come, fellow educators, come, let us answer the noble call. A call to public service, come, the divisions, vision, mission, and goal. Lord, greatest teacher and provider, give us sincere hearts in serving people. Lord, help us to work for excellence, that we may be worthy in your presence. Come, fellow educators, come, let us answer the noble call. A call to public service, come, the divisions, vision, mission, and goal. A call to public service, come, the divisions, vision, mission, and goal.
Please be seated and find comfortable place for you to stay during our fruitful discussion of the topics. At this very moment, may we have Mrs. Maria Emily L. Kalumpang, our secondary school principal too of the Kalinog National Comprehensive High School, for her words of welcome. Let's give her a warm virtual applause.
According to Rita Mae Brown, a life of reactions is a life of slavery, intellectually and spiritually. One must fight for a life of action, not reaction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of you will have positive and negative reactions on the topics to be discussed or shared by our speakers. Others may say that there will be additional work for teachers again and again. Some will be stressed out thinking about how they would be able to comply with the reports mandated in the DepEd orders and memoranda. No burden is strong enough, no person is weak enough, and no situation is difficult enough if we hold hands together, if we talk and open our arms together, if we open our minds together, we can make all things possible. To my fellow public servants and frontliners in this noblest of all professions, I know that we are all busy, but this COVID-19 pandemic did not hinder and waver our desire to deliver the good and quality education we want our learners to achieve, from printing of modules to sorting and packing, and finally the distribution and retrieval of the different modules and learning kits from our barangay centers, both near and far. We are ready to serve. This shows our flexibility in performing various tasks not only in school but also in our family and community involvement. Being together for 5 days in this virtual inset, according to CID Chief Serobin Libutaki, others might find it different. However, this stands as a proof of our undying commitment in our quest for a brighter future for our students and for our own personal improvement as a teacher. Let us bear in mind that each of us plays an important role in building our nation as we build the dreams of our children together. My dear teachers, we could not go away with this. We have committed ourselves to do our responsibilities and obligations as DepEd employee. All we have to do is to reflect on this, make an effort to understand who you are, and then have the courage to just be yourself. With all this, time management, dedication, and full commitment are the important keys. After this training, I expect you to possess a great deal of knowledge with regards to teaching in order to meet the demands of the 21st century teacher that caters to meet the standards of a good and quality education. Lastly, I would like to commend the organizers who were the brains behind the operations of our virtual INSET, the facilitators, and the speakers who have accepted the challenge to share and impart their knowledge. I give us all my advance congratulations for a job well done. On this note, before I end these remarks, let me leave you this very notable quote by Lao Tzu, a famous Chinese philosopher. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I believe that if we begin our journey together, we can reach even the farthest of the horizon. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that very warm welcome address. Indeed, we are here because of our passion and pursuit to continue the education amidst these uncertainties. I guess everyone is set and all enthusiastic to listen to our speakers. So may we have Miss Wella D. Katamin, Teacher 1 of Kalinog National Comprehensive High School, for the introduction of our resource speakers.
Hello, everyone. We will have at least 10 amazing speakers for this week. Our first speaker will share her expertise in research that I know will be helpful to us. I'm so excited to introduce our first speaker, Dr. B. Tuvilla Yabe. Everyone is calling him Josa because of his awesome personality. To talk about personality enhancement amidst the COVID-19 pandemic is no other than Dr. Anli P. Hipanaga, Master Teacher 1 of Kalinog National Comprehensive High School. In this time of pandemic, we need one another to uplift our spirit. In this connection, Mom Joylyn C. Alcarde Master Teacher 1 of this institution will give us a speech about strengthening school-family relationship to ensure student success. Development of enrichment activities and education strategies will be tackled by Ma'am Chona G. Huson, Master Teacher 1, a marvelous teacher who will help us bring academic concepts to life. To help us achieve our goal in field of teaching, the topic Stakeholders Engagement will be discussed by Jennifer F. Sencha, Teacher 3 of this institution. Another astonishing speaker will talk about values and ethics development in distance and blended learning modalities by Dr. Harry R. Palmes, Master Teacher 2 of Kalinog National Comprehensive High School. To share her knowledge about assessment, evaluation, and adjustment of school learning continuity plan is a brilliant person. My friend, Mom Cheryl C. Legreso, Teacher 3 of this institution. Our newly elected TEA President, my former teacher, Mom Maria Celine E. Consumo, Master Teacher 1, will share her best practices in the new normal. This topic is relevant in this current situation. We will be listening to Mr. Jesse S. Compendio, Master Teacher 1, as he speaks about MELCS-based Quarter 2 planning for distance learning delivery modality. Give your full attention to Mom Epigenia C. Casipe, Teacher 3, and has been teaching in this institution for 13 years as she discussed about IPCRF. Fellow teachers, let's enjoy this week listening to these remarkable speakers.
Good morning, everyone. This is virtual in-service training for teachers with a twist or a paradigm shift from the normal which we used to have. This is Inset in a new normal. Today, and as always, I am tasked to tackle on the topic research. What is research? How does a teacher define research? Let me read a quotation which says, "Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought," according to Albert Zen Georgi. But before that, I'm going to show you our achievement in research for this recent year. In the first division of Iloilo Research Congress last November 25 to 27, 2020, Kalinog National Comprehensive High School was awarded and recognized as host school for research evaluation and roll-up. At the same time, it is awarded as bannering the establishment of a functional research center. And also, we have here our researchers who are awarded for the Basic Education Research Fund Completer. We have yours truly, Ma'am Marilyn Dairit, Ma'am Cheryl Legreso, and Sir Jomar A. Lamid. Okay, for the Division Congressional Technical Working Group, we have yours truly, Sir Harry R. Palmes, Ma'am Chona Huson, and Sir R.G. Carey. And also, we have pending on under still ongoing research um, to be completed by the following: Ma'am Huson, Ma'am Almirante, Ma'am Mendoza, and Sir Esto. Okay, so why do we have or to do research in the educational system? Okay, we have the Research Management Guidelines. The Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, Republic Act 9155 mandates that the Department of Education enact policies and mechanisms through which the delivery of quality education may be continuously improved. This is Chapter 1, Section 7, which includes among the responsibilities of DepEd across all governance levels the undertaking of educational research and studies that will serve as one of the bases for necessary reforms and policy development. Also, it provides guidance in the management and conduct of research initiatives at the national, regional, school division, and school levels to further promote and strengthen the culture of research and basic education. Eligible DepEd employees in availing of research funds. Okay, so we have the different research committees from the National Research Committee established through DepEd Order 43 series of 2015. It is where and when research started for DepEd. We have also the Regional Research Committee, or the RRC, Schools Division Research Committee, and the Schools Division Research, um, a Schools Research Committee. The School Division Research Committee will assume the responsibilities of research management at the school's division level. That is why we always have the call for research by the division of Iloilo. So what are the research management cycle? We have the call for research proposals. The national and regional research committees will spearhead the periodic call for research proposals in their respective areas at least once a year or as deemed necessary by the committee or the funding source. Next, what are the requirements? Okay, here are the requirements. Application form and endorsement of immediate supervisor of the proponent, research proposal, and anti-plagiarism and absence of conflict of interest declaration. Then, after the call for proposals, we have the evaluation of proposals. Proposals falling under the following conditions will not be further evaluated and will immediately be returned with technical inputs to the proponents. If it is incomplete, documentary requirements as prescribed during the call for proposals, conflict of interest in personal and professional aspects which may influence the impartiality of the parties concerned, whether the proponent or the research manager, and non-conformance to research ethics. Exceeding the maximum amount of research grant with no provision for cost sharing. That is why you cannot just put any amount you like when you do your cost estimates. Non-alignment of research topic with a national, local, basic education research agenda. That is why some of the proposals was not granted because it is not aligned or in consonance with the basic education research agenda. Then cost estimates not within the existing accounting and auditing rules and regulations. You cannot just put materials you want or you need, and that will not be included, or that will not be allowed by the secretariat. The secretariat will duly inform the proponent of the results from the initial screening The proponents who pass the initial screening shall then be endorsed to the respective research committees for a more rigorous evaluation. Another one for those uh, which will conduct with indigenous people learners, indigenous cultural communities, indigenous knowledge system and practices, and indigenous learning systems. There should be a conduct or they will conduct a discussion with the recognized community representatives or elders in IPED implementation from the community to be involved in research to validate the proposal's compliance with the ethical requirements. So we cannot just put as respondents, the IT learners like that, we have to ask permission from their elders. Okay, community evaluation. The research committee shall evaluate the proposals using the criteria and scoring templates. So we have that. Those which involve IP learners, ICC, ICCs, IKSPs, and ILS, the committee may contact recognized community representatives or elders from the communities to be involved in the research to clarify any concerns related to the conduct of research. To qualify for approval, the proponent must have a minimum score of 70% based on the criteria. Then after that, if you have passed 70%, notification of results will be done, progress monitoring. So while you are conducting research, anybody could, or from TPRD of the region, will monitor how you do about with your research. Then you have technical assistance. If you do not know what to do, you can go to certain people in the regional or research committee for technical assistance and also from the division research committee. Submission and acceptance. So for example, you have done your result already. You can have or you can submit that to the TPRD in region 6 of TEPED region 6 and you will be given certificate of acceptance. Then it will not end there. You are going to disseminate your research result and how you're going to utilize it in school and in the congressional district if you make it or have a bigger scope of your study. Okay. With full support of school heads, teachers will disseminate and utilize their research through existing mechanisms such as but not limited to the following venues. We have the learning action cells, so you will expect our researchers to be disseminating the research results in your LAC sessions, in-service training like this one, school governing council, and enhanced school improvement plan, annual implementation plan, and also in school report card. So these researches must be reflected. The result must be part of the planning or it will guide the school in its planning of what they're going to do. For example, if it is in curriculum, what are we going to, or we are going to follow. If the result is good and better for the school, we have to inject or try to insert this research result. Okay. Then monitoring and evaluation. Apart from the progress monitoring of the researches being conducted, PRD, PS, or PPRD, RO, and the SGOD shall conduct monitoring and evaluation of the entire research management cycle within their respective areas to continuously improve the management of research. Feedback will be communicated through monitoring and evaluation platforms in the respective governance levels. Okay, fund resources for basic education research fund. Okay, that is what we call the BERF. Okay, this fund will support education research initiatives in the department such as, but not limited to, funding for approved education research proposals of DepEd employees, capacity building, research dissemination and utilization, policy development, technical support, and monitoring and evaluation. Okay, for allocation, all regions will be provided with funds to support the approved proposals and conduct of related activities. BERF will manage by the PPRDRO. 70% of the allocation will be exclusively used to fund research proposals from the regions, schools, and divisions. The remaining 25% will be used for research-related expenses such as, but not limited to, capacity building, research dissemination activities, and representation fees for research conferences, among others. That is why after you've done or you're qualified, there are research conferences or there are conferences conducted by the DepEd Region 6 for that. Okay, depending on fund availability, additional funds will be released to regions which have utilized 80% of the initial allocation as reflected in the region's utilization report. Scope and allocation of research proposals. Research proposals must be in line with a basic education research agenda, that is DO 39 series of 2016. Other research topics not covered in the agenda but are deemed a priority in the region, schools division, or school may also be considered. The table below outlines the maximum amount of grants per research proposal depending on the scope of research. Okay, so we have, if your scope is national level, you can avail, that is nationwide or covering at least 2 regions. The maximum amount would be not more than 500,000 per research, maximum of 1 year. So research duration must be only for 1 year. For region, research that is region-wide or covering at least 2 divisions, not more than, or maximum amount will be granted not more than 150,000 per research with a research duration maximum of 1 year. So for division research that is division-wide, district-wide, or covering at least 2 schools, not more than 150,000 per research. So for me, I have 31,000 for the allocation because I have 2 schools, or uh, 1 municipality, I think. So I was granted 31,000 for that. So for school level, action research that is classroom-based or school, CLC-wide in scope, maximum amount is not more than 30,000 per research. Okay, maximum of 6 months only. You have to do it in 6 months. Personnel from the schools division, region may submit a research proposal that is nationwide in scope provided that the conduct of research will not interfere with the regular functions in the respective schools and offices. Offices may also submit action research proposals which aim to improve office operations. The amount and duration of these researches will be similar to that of school CLC level researches. So we have office and for teachers. Eligibility of proponents. We have proponents are regular, permanent teaching or non-teaching personnel of the DepEd, have no pending administrative case, have not yet availed of the grant for the given year. For example, you have not yet finished your research now, you cannot apply for another research grant. There is a maximum of 3 research team members for group proposals, but the lead proponent will be appointed to liaise with the secretariat or administrative and financial matters. Okay, eligible and non-eligible activities and expenditures. We cannot just spend because we have the fund. For birth grantees, the research fund will be utilized for the following activities. Expenses related to the implementation of the approved research proposals, but are not limited to the following: supplies and materials, domestic travel, communication expenses, reproduction, printing and binding, food and other incurred expenses during conduct of research, and other expenses related to conduct of research not listed in the non-eligible expenditures, expenses related to research dissemination. Specifically, the research fund will not be used for the following expenses: equipment, software, salary, overtime pay, or honorarium for resource persons, statisticians, and other service providers, utilities, office rental, and all overseas travel, and all items not included in the approved research proposal. Okay, research funds to be managed with a central regional office may also be utilized for the following: capacity building, development of database system, representation fees of research grantees, progress and results monitoring of research, implementation, development, and publication of research journals, and bulletins of DepEd-initiated research, other initiatives and activities related to research which are deemed appropriate by the national and regional research committees. Use of 20% research support fund lodged at the regional office should prioritize capacity building and local dissemination of research results. Okay, release and liquidation of funds. BERF is output-based. The release and liquidation of funds are dependent on the submission and acceptance of the grantee's deliverables. Once the deliverables are accepted by the research committees and submitted to the budget and accounting divisions, the approved amount will be released to the grantee. The Secretariat will inform the grantee when the funds are released. The allotted amount will be released to the grantee through the most cost-efficient needs. Okay, so we have here indicated in the tables are serve as liquidation documents. So for national first tranche, you can have 40%. You have the deliverables given, then second tranche 40%, last tranche 20%. Okay, for the region or division level, you have first tranche 40%, second tranche 40%, last tranche 20%. For the school, we have 80% and 20. You have two tranches. Tranches only apply for proposals costing 5,000 and above. The approved full amount will be released to the grantee upon submission of the work plan and the MOA. Okay, so you have the submission of deliverables to facilitate the release of funds. Grantees will submit their deliverables to the Secretariat as indicated in the approved work plan. Okay, what do we do always? We have the action research. This is a process of systematic and reflective inquiry to improve educational practices or resolve problems in any operating unit, be it school, classroom, or office. So usually we claim it means teachers only, but those who are in the office could also conduct researches. Research proposal is a document which provides details of a proposed study, research purpose, and methodology, estimated cost, and work plan. Okay, so we have the research format. You can just ask me or you can refer to this also. So you have for non-action research or basic research, we have here the format. Okay, so it is different with the action research format, which is option 2. So in the action research format, you have the different that you have to note the problem, you have the solution, and you have the action plan later. So you have to finish it. Okay, so in our school, we have the birth qualified researches. So you can pattern your research on this. Reflective portfolio, its effect on biology learners' performance. Okay, that was the proponent was Ma'am Apple Almirante. And for Ma'am Huson, we have digital narrative video making and learners' 21st century learning skills and conceptual understanding in selected physics topics. And yours truly, I have technological pedagogical content knowledge or TPAC of senior high school teachers, basis for the development of training design and teaching module. So you will be noticing that sometime I'm conducting a small group training for ICT or technology because it is part of my dissemination, part of my action research. And lastly, we have Maribel's output learning math body intervention to enhance the performance of students in mathematics. Okay, so I think that's all. Thank you very much. But I'm going to give you an example of a completed research which will be discussed with us by Sir Jomar Lamila, our 2019 birth completed. Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jomar A. Lamida, and I would like to share to you my action research as one of the birth grantee last 2019. My research is entitled Focused Group Conversation on Academic Performance of Grade 10 Students in Araling Panlipunan under House Husband Phenomenon. Academic performance of children is the combination of communal interface. Academic performance means education learning school, colleges, and universities to get certain scores, grades, ranks, and promotion to next class, and to get a job. According to Lane French, 2006, the mothers who are highly educated and working are more sensitive to their children. They focus on the point that parents should provide attentive, hands-on care to their children. It is the responsibility of mother to educate her children according to the requirement of contemporary economic and social needs. Bransford's 2000. In Philippine society, patriarchal system was practiced where the father rather is the principal breadwinner and dominant head of the family. The structure of the family and the needs that the family fulfills vary through times. The role of parents likewise changed. Many marital roles are sequential. In Philippine setting, women are responsible for all the household. But nowadays, society is confronted with changes. With more and more Filipino women leaving for work abroad, the country is seeing the rise of Filipino house husbands, spouses left behind to take care of the household and the children. Latest survey conducted by Institute of Labor Studies of Department of Labor and Employment Report 2012 showed that 47% of 1.9 million overseas Filipino workers are women, a proof that the number of men taking care of home is also increasing. This phenomenon is very rampant nationwide, especially in Calinog, Iloilo, which mostly of the housewives worked as domestic helper in other countries. As evidence, in Calinog National Comprehensive High School, there are 10% of students from total population who are under care of their father. Most, if not all, these students were academically poor and have an attitude problem towards their peers and teachers. These students performed low in all subjects, especially in Araling Panlipunan. Based on the result of Araling Panlipunan National Achievement Test of Grade 10 last school year 2016-2017, the Calinog National Comprehensive High School mean percentage score or MPS is only 48.12%, which is lower compared to the school's division of Iloilo MPS, which is 48.76%, and to national mean percentage score of 48.81%. Due to this reason, the researcher preferably choose the Araling Panlipunan because the third quarter of contemporary issue are related to his study and the researcher experienced in his past students that whose mother are working abroad have poor grades in this quarter. If these students will continue to have low academic performance, especially in Araling Panlipunan, it will affect the school's key performance indicator. Due to this reason, the researcher wanted to conduct the study to find out if focus group conversation or FGC is an intervention that may improve the academic performance of grade 10 students in Araling Panlipunan. This action research employed focused group conversation or FGC utilizing one group pre-test and post-test design. The focus group conversation utilized the ORIG framework, which is objective, question, reflective questions, interpretive questions, and decisional questions. And it is a method that helps a group journey through a conversation together. The participants of the study were the 3% of the total population of grade 10 students whose mother are working abroad and were currently enrolled in Calinog National Comprehensive High School during school year 2019-2020. The pre-test post-test equivalent group design was used in the study. A 20-item adapted questionnaire from Araling Panlipunan Teacher's Manual which is kontemporaryong issue, was utilized to measure the students' performance in Araling Panlipunan. The lessons covered 8 learning competencies in the topic sa mga isyu at hamong pangkasarian from Araling Panlipunan Learner's Manual prescribed by Department of Education. The statistical treatment where the mean and standard deviation for descriptive analysis of data while Wilcoxon signed rank test for inferential analysis. This table, as you can see, shows the scale and description of my study. This action research aimed to find out the effect of focus group conversation or FGC, an intervention in academic performance of grading students under house husband phenomenon at Kalinog National Comprehensive High School for the school year 2019-2020. Specifically, this study sought to answer the following question. First, what is the academic performance of grade 10 learners in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon before exposure to focus group conversation or FGC? As you can see, this is the result, and the table 1 shows the mean analysis showing the academic performance of grading students in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon before the exposure of focus group conversation or FGC. As shown on the table 1, the academic performance of the respondents in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon before exposure to focus group conversation FGC was low, with a mean of 5.50 and statistical deviation of 1.84. This exhibits that students whose mothers are working abroad tend to struggle academically, especially in Araling Panlipunan. Furthermore, it shows that most of the fathers have an intricacy in rearing their children, specifically in the aspect of education. According to Bransford 2000, it is the responsibility of mother to educate her children according to the requirement of contemporary economic and social needs. This finding is also supported by the study of ISER 2004, found that children who care for themselves after school have a greater risk of truancy from school, stress, and receiving poor grades. Moreover, Hoffman and Youngblade 2010 reported that full-time employed mothers spend less time with their children and affected the maternal education of the children. Ramberger also added that a family background is the most significant contribution to child success in school. He explained further using the mother's involvement are requisites and concluded that it is the quality of commitment of parents that determines the academic success of children. Parents with low economic income and less attention towards education are likely to experience poor academic achievement of their children. For number 2 question, what is the academic performance of grade 10 learners in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon after exposure to focus group conversation or FGC? Table 2 shows the mean analysis showing the academic performance of grade 10 students in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon after the exposure of focus group conversation or FGC. As shown on the table 2, the academic performance of respondents in Araling Panlipunan after exposure to focus group conversation was high, with a mean of 12.90 and statistical deviation of 1.52. This simply displayed that focused group conversation is a useful strategy that a teacher can use in teaching, especially in dealing with students whose mothers are working abroad. The high academic performance of respondents in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon after exposure to focus group conversation of FGC implies that using focus group conversation improved their academic performance in Araling Panlipunan. This finding is supported by the study of Kalayan and Kasim, stated that researchers and educators have just suggested that splitting students into learning groups in the classroom may lead to several benefits, including better academic performance. Moreover, Chen, Congea, and Pu 2008 stated that group conversation can be useful to help develop a positive attitude toward learning. And for the last question, is there significant difference on academic performance of grade 10 students in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon before and after exposure to focus group conversation or FGC? This table 3 shows the Wilcoxon signed rank result, showing the difference in academic performance of grade 10 students under house husband phenomenon before and after exposure to focused group conversation or FGC. The table 3 shows the result of Wilcoxon signed rank tests and difference on academic performance of grading students in Araling Panlipunan under house husband phenomenon before and after exposure to focus group conversation. As can be seen on table number 3, there is significant difference in the pre-test and post-test results, which C is negative 2.814 and p-value is 0.5, which is lesser than 0.5 alpha. As can be seen on table 3, there is significant difference, which means, or this means that there is really an improvement in the scores of students from pre-test to post-test, from low to high. This implies that intervention, the focus group conversation, improved the performance of the students. Findings is related of Abrami and Apollonia, 2001, reported that discussion is an effective way to promote higher level thinking, develop students' attitudes, and advance student capacity for more questioning. At the meantime, learning together techniques enable students to discuss different issues and exchange ideas in order to make everything clear for them. The high level of explanation is positively related to students' achievement. Group learning has significantly more positive effects than individual learning on student individual achievement. Based on the result of this investigation, the following conclusions were made. First, the low level of academic performance of respondents before exposure to focus group conversation will affect the key performance indicators of school. Therefore, it needs an immediate intervention. Using focus group conversation as intervention is an effective strategy in improving academic performance of the grade 10 students whose mothers are working abroad. As recommended, therefore, the researcher recommends that the public school administrators should respond favorably and focus attention on the children's needs while encouraging their parents to be supportive. Parents and guardians should realize that it is their responsibility to guide their children through their educational achievement. And both parents should undergo family counseling so that they may be able to create a positive home environment that will help a child to develop and nurture his cognitive, emotional, and physical dimension. And lastly, using focus group conversation should be recommended to other school authorities for further validation of the study. Thank you.
Good morning to the faculty and staff of this institution, the Kalinog National Comprehensive High School, Inset 2020. My topic for today is teachers' personality enhancement amidst COVID-19 pandemic. A teacher need not be beautiful, handsome, or splendidly dressed, but neatness is a must. A proper attire, a cheerful appearance, and an air of confidence do much to project a pleasing appearance, which will no doubt bring enthusiastic learners' response. In today's pandemic, it is a requirement you are beautiful or handsome, but neatness is always been a plus factor. Proper attire, cheerful appearance, and an air of confidence. A teacher who is confident enough knows her subject matter, master her subject matter, and with various resources. On the other hand, a teacher who projects the image of a loser or of one who tries hard to project the image of class and superiority will do much to deter positive response from the pupils or learners who are ever in need of someone who is friendly, respectable, and reachable. Yes, because being a teacher, we are not only teaching the ABC of life, but we need to be friends of these learners, approachable, easy to talk with, and respectable, because there's always an edge between learners and the teacher. Teacher plays a multiple role in the classroom or in distance learning like this. Friendly, respectable, and reachable. Teacher's personality stands on confidence built upon competence. Confidence makes the person less defensive and therefore less aggressive in dealing with peers and learners. Confidence in the inner strength of the teacher, and this could be reinforced by educational advancement and wider social exposure. So there, we encourage our colleague to continue, go to school, educate yourself, and be ready to face the battle of the changing world of education. Educational advancement is very vital. This is our weapon to face the different and various learners. Whether social exposure, the teacher who has not done much to update knowledge and skill will be inevitably loose and left behind. Confidence and suffer from diminished poise. Yes, you might sometimes caught an off guard if you're not ready, if you're not confident. If you're not confident, you're incompetent. The development by teachers of their personality befit mission they have been given and which they have chosen requires the involvement of government. When the teachers are overlooked, unpaid, and powerless, they can only have the image of losers in dilapidated personality. But even if government falls short of providing the base for the building of a teacher's confidence, it is still part of being a teacher to make the best of what can be done. Initiative comes in. Don't stop because you don't have. Look for resources. We can tap our stakeholders, the government and non-government people have the kind of heart to share. No society has even been impervious to the need to give teachers what they deserve economically and socially. Even now, the Department of Education has set up some recommendations to improve the lot of teachers. This is a source of hope. Teacher is just like a light that torch the path of our learners, leading to the bright path and help them achieving their goals, their mission, and their dreams in life. Teacher's personality, factor affecting students' performance. Teachers and students play a vital role in having a healthy school environment. Teachers would not exist without the students who depend so much on their learning to them. So as the students, they would not exist without their teachers. Students look up their teachers as the agent of learning. Teachers have been universally accepted as one of the most important components of education, according to Sekura 1997. They are the frontliners in the educational system in today's pandemic. Personality development. How often do we hear this term from our mentors and our teachers in our schools and learning centers? The abundance of the usage of this term signals towards its importance in today's life. So, what do you mean by personality development? And why teachers should know about it? Is it not something about how one looks or how one speaks? It is also not about how easily you can connect with people. No, personality development is none of these. It is all of it. Yes, in every aspect of personality that is to be developed. Here are five simple yet crucial tips for teachers to keep in mind while performing the act of education. Here are five simple yet crucial tips for teachers to keep in mind while performing the act of education. First is confidence. Confidence, it is the key to overall development of any child, and learners should always keep in mind that their focus should be increasing confidence by creating interactive group activities in class. If you gain the trust of your learners, they are confident in you as a teacher because the learning lies on a confident teacher. Confident teacher knows his route leading and achieving the goals in life of the learners. Master his subject matter, equipped with techniques and latest approaches in dealing with distance learning. Second, authenticity. Authenticity. The teacher should not discourage the originality in the students as they will flourish more if they will be themselves. Number two, authenticity. The teacher should not discourage the originality in the students as they will flourish more and they will be themselves. Yes, for example, we're talking something but a child has different experience towards this. We need to respect this for a learner who have understanding the word authenticity, or should I say originality. If a teacher show a paragraph and line, let the students express them with themselves because they have different experience, varied experience that they encounter in their life. The fact that they are still learners, they're young. Their experiences might be fresh and different to the teachers themselves. Number three, dressing sense. Teachers should groom the students and should make them aware of how to make a desirable impression. Proper attire is always observed in every institution, but not today because we are in modular style. But then again, as a teacher, we need to be always have the sense of dressing. The fact that we're a teacher, we have a lot of restriction. Neatness and proper grooming is always a need in the field of education as a teacher. Number four, body language. It is just as important a verbal language. Everything, including the way people walk, sit, talk, or eat, leaves an impact. So teachers should correct the body language of the students. If they are not doing it properly, correct it, especially inside the classroom. If they are unmanageable, discipline should be observed. Body language sometimes mislead you because in today's generation, learners are different. They are the millennials of today's generation. Fifth, opinionated thinking. Teachers should inculcate and encourage opinion formation in students by asking them about their opinion on various topics on class. Yes, we should take note students inside the classroom vary. The various students vary on their interpretation of a certain topic. We need to respect their opinion because their opinion based on their experience and let them express themselves. By keeping in mind the above mentioned key aspects of personality development, teachers can really help. Teachers can really help students in developing good personality and making their future brighter. 10 mental health tips for teachers balancing life and remote teaching. Throughout COVID-19 pandemic, teachers, school counselors, and school employees have remained acutely focused on supporting their students and continuing to do their jobs at this time. In some cases, this may mean teaching, caretaking, whether our children or other loved ones, and continuing to work through the same challenges that anyone else is. While resources related to mental health have been rightfully front and center for supporting students, parents, and others, less focus has been paid on maintaining the mental health of the educators who are also trying to find balance in our new way of living and remote teaching. That's why we put together some mental health tips for teachers that can help during COVID 19. Number one, control the controllable during COVID 19. There are certain things that you simply cannot control right now. Who will be impacted by the COVID 19? Whether it will be you, how things will be evolved, but there are some things that you can control. How you spend some of your time, what you choose to prioritize, what types of media you consume, and how frequently. And your mindset, to name a few, by focusing on the things that you can control and prioritizing the ones that one heartily you can help to put on your mental wellness front and center. Number two, carve out time for self care to maintain your mental health. Now, more than ever, we are acutely focused on remote teaching, physical health, and preventing illnesses, washing hands, social distancing, and engaging in healthy practices. But it is just as important for maintaining mental health to try carve out some time to prioritize the other things that help us feel balanced. For some, it is exercise. For others, it is reading, journaling, meditating, or spending time doing a hobby. And if you are someone who isn't sure that you can do for your self care, simply the act of doing something can help maintain your mental health. Others, sometimes in their spare time, they play mahjong so that their mind will be working. for diskarte how to win the mahjong play. Number three, get your body moving to help your mental wellness. One of the biggest challenges for many educators during this time is how hard it is to be sedentary. You may be used to moving around, physical transitions from one room to the other, or even your usual lunchtime walk with a colleague. As you work around you, schedule set timer for create break. As you work around your schedule, set or even your usual lunchtime walk with colleague. As you work around your schedule, set a timer or create breaks for you specifically to move around. This might mean moving around your house or taking a walk around your building or neighborhood, obeying physical distancing recommendations. Of course, anything you get to your body moving will help maintaining your mental wellness. Number four, model self compassion. Now, more than ever, we need to be incredibly kind to ourselves to help maintaining mental wellness. We teach students this all of the time. The basics of self compassion, kind, self talk, and growth mindset. Now it is the same time to also turn it inwards. In doing so, you'll be benefit your own mental and social, and also with able to model it for others in your life. Number five, set reasonable expectations for yourself and others. Collectively, we need to acknowledge that we are in the midst of a pandemic and a distance learning, and that is not business as usual. Things are going to be different, and that is okay. We can't expect to be as productive or on top of it or together as we once could. If you're one of those, like many, who is trying to balance educating with caretaking or educating your students on top of your setting small or on top of your own kids, there's no possible way that you can be all things to all people all of the time. By setting small, realistic goals and expectations around what you actually could be capable of, you will be setting yourself up to feel much more fulfilled and help maintain your mental health. Number six, communication is vital for maintaining mental health for teachers. Let people know what is going on, especially colleagues and supervisors, by being transparent about what you are experiencing. And with what things may be helpful, you can bring them in and potentially expand your own network of resources and support. You may also be modeling healthy communication to one another, colleagues to follow suit. You may also be modeling healthy communication to other colleagues to follow suit. So that's why in Kalinog National Cooperative High School, we have the group chat for the junior high school teachers, and the same way with the group chat for the senior high school. But we have one common group chat for the whole institution so that communication be easily acquired and message will be easily transported. Number seven, be an apologetic. We live in an I'm sorry culture. During this time, consider how often you apologize and ways in which you can stop being apologetic person about thinking time for yourself, setting realistic goals, setting boundaries, and being clear and transparent about what you are capable of and what you need. This is one of the hardest things to do for many, but also important for maintaining mental health and wellness. Number eight, A dedicated workspace can improve mental wellness. This is a psychological trick that helps you to both be more productive and to disconnect from work more easily. When working from home, we can quickly fall into the unhealthy balance between work and life, especially if you're working in the areas of your home in which you are also living. By creating a dedicated workspace, even if it is just an corner of your home that you designated as work only, you can do two things. You can send an outward message to those in your life that when you are in a space, you are working, and also an internal message to your own brain that signals what it is work mood and when it is time to disconnect. Number nine, set office hours while remote teaching. By controlling and identifying specific times in which students or colleagues can reach, you will be able to both set boundaries while remote teaching and will also provide a designated time in which students know that they can reach you during distance learning. Tools like Class for Zoom can make it easier for one, conversations during class, while other LMS platforms allow you to set office hours in the platform. Some districts have done this work for us, but for others, remote teaching, it may need to be something that we do ourselves to help maintain our mental health while working for home. 10. Reach out. If you feel you're having a tough time and are struggling in any way with enjoying things, balancing your mood, or finding time to take care of yourself, or if you have any things or thoughts of hurting yourself, please reach out to a counselor. All the resources that we shared for students can also be utilized by educators. Psychology Today has fantastic therapist directory, and your health insurance can also help you locate a counselor, most of whom have switched to offering telehealth service. What we are experiencing right now is hard, and trained professionals across the globe continue to mobilize to serve as front line. How teachers should deal with difficult parents. Dealing with difficult parents is virtually impossible for any educator to escape. As a school administrator or teacher, you aren't always going to make everybody happy. You are in a position where it is sometimes necessary to make difficult decisions, and parents will sometimes challenges you or those decisions, especially when it comes to student discipline and grade retention. It is your job to be diplomatic in the decision making process and to think through every decision without being rushed. The following steps can be very helpful when dealing with difficult parents. First, be proactive. It is easier to deal with parent if you can build a relationship with them before a difficult situation arises. As a school administrator or teacher, it is essential for a number of reasons to build relationships with the parents of your students. If the parents are on your side, then you typically will be able to do your job more effectively. Be open minded. Most parents who complain genuinely feel like their child has been slighted in some way. Although it is easy to be defensive, it is important to have an open mind and to listen to what the parents have to say. Try to see things from their perspective. Teachers should have the ear to listen to the plight of parents. Open minded. Most parents who complain genuinely feel like their child has been slighted in some way. Although it is easy to be defensive, it is important to have an open mind and to listen to what the parents have to say. Try to see things from their perspective. Yes, teachers should have the ear to listen to the plight of the parents because parents always want the best for their children. And we need to drive for each goal to make a difference on the life of our learners. Be prepared. It is critical that you be prepared for the worst possible situation when an angry parent comes into your office. You may have parents who storm into your office cursing and screaming, and you will have to handle them without losing control of your own emotions. If a parent is extremely agitated, you can politely ask them to leave and return once they have calmed down and face the parents with composure and with poise. Thank you.